Hey Year 12s! In this video, we're looking at 3 different types of probability: independent, mutually exclusive, and conditional, before looking at an exam question. Let's look at independent probability first. If an event A is independent, then whether or not another event B occurs has no effect on the probability of A occurring. For example, if I roll a 6 on a die on the first roll, the probability of me getting a 6 on the second roll is unaffected, because the events are independent of each other. The chance of rolling a 6 is 1 out of 6, no matter what. This is expressed in the following way. The probability of A given B is the probability of A. This means that the probability of A, given that B has occurred, is the same as the probability of A if B had not occurred. Now that we know that, we can draw the following conclusion. The probability of A intersection B is the probability of A times the probability of B. Since the probability of A and B occurring aren't related to each other, the chance of them both occurring is calculated simply by multiplying the chance of A by the chance of B. For example, the chance of me rolling a 6 on 2 consecutive die rolls is 1 out of 6 times 1 out of 6. Now, let's move on to what is meant by 2 events being mutually exclusive. It's very simple. 2 events that are mutually exclusive cannot both occur at the same time. This is expressed like this. The probability of A intersection B equals 0. What we are saying there is that the chance of both A and B occurring is equal to 0, that there is no chance of both A and B occurring. For example, if you flip a coin once, the chance of it landing on heads and tails at the same time is 0. It just can't happen. Finally, we're going to look at conditional probability. Conditional probability is when the probability of an event is altered when it is known that another event has occurred. It is usually written as follows: probability of A given B. For example, the probability of rain tomorrow changes based on the weather today. The probability of A given B is the probability of A intersection B over the probability of B. Now, let's look at a practice question from the 2014 VCAR exam. Sally aims to walk her dog, Mac, most mornings. If the weather is pleasant, the probability that she will walk Mac is 3 out of 4. And if the weather is unpleasant, the probability that she will walk Mac is 1 out of 3. In the month of April, the probability of pleasant weather in the morning was 5 out of 8. Find the probability that on a particular morning in April, Sally walked Mac. As the probability of pleasant weather in the morning of April is 5 out of 8, it indicates that the probability of unpleasant weather is therefore 3 out of 8. We can then draw a tree diagram for Sally to walk or not walk her dog Mac, given that the weather is pleasant or unpleasant. If you look at the tree diagram, Mac getting walked is represented by these 2 paths. So then, we find the probability of each of these paths individually, then add them together to get the total probability of Mac getting walked. To find the probability that Sally walked Mac on a particular morning, we times the probability of the pleasant morning, probability of P, by the probability of Sally walking Mac, given that the weather is pleasant, the probability of W given P. We also need to times the probability of the unpleasant morning, probability of P dash, by the probability of Sally walking Mac, given that the weather is unpleasant, probability of W given P dash. The final step is to add those 2 products together to find the final probability of Sally walking Mac on a particular morning in April. This gives us the answer 19 out of 32. Thanks for watching and happy studying!